All right, we're recording. Hi, my name is Savannah, and I will be kind of doing a vlog style of this week. That's kind of how I would communicate best, I guess, with other people. I want it to be very casual and informal. So we're going to go over just a few things that stuck out for me. So we're going to start with the relationship between science and Islam. Science has very Arabic roots. We see this in the words algebra and algorithm, but also it's very medieval and Islamic in its legacy. So Fibonacci was a great thinker of this time, focused primarily on writing and studying map making, optics, and medicine. Something that surprised me of this time was the origin of Roman numerals and how El-Khwarizmi, another great thinker, thought that they were very inefficient. So he then simplified arithmetic calculations, eventually creating the decimal point. The significance of this was that it made science and mathematics much more global in a sense that those from anywhere in the world had a similar terminology to relate and speak to. The second part that I am hoping to communicate with you is the Arabic and Islamic political control of the time that really stood out in the documentaries. So, Islamic caliphs ruled by the 16th century, and a caliph is basically someone who had a lot of cultural power and cultural wealth that they could share to the society and really make a big difference in these types of, thoughts and revolutionary ideas of the time. So political power and scientific knowledge obviously go hand in hand during this time. But the Islamic caliphs were faced with a problem. How does one govern a politically diverse nation? So many indeed practiced Islam, but they were separated by long distances and languages. So in the 8th century, the world was presented with an opportunity to translate these languages, aiding in the communication around the world of the scientific ideas. So much of this translation era was laid the foundations for the scientific renaissance. The Renaissance helped lead to the uniform language of science, which is Arabic. This language was believed to be the language of God and therefore had a lot of influence. Um, Religious texts such as the Quran, which Muslims practice still to this day, was in Arabic. So it really carried a lot of weight. And then a common question is why Arabic was chosen out of all these languages of the world to become the universal language, given its complicated calligraphy. So the complexity of the Arabic calligraphy has to do with the spread of Islam and how people were worried that the words in the Quran especially would be lost. So this way it gave the scholars from lands far and wide to have this common language to communicate with which was developed to be precise and unambiguous. So now scholars participate in dialogue, debate, development, etc. And the last part I wish to communicate is what's the deal with the ruling elites? These rich elites desire to scour the world for all and any scientific findings and bring them back to Baghdad to translate them. This brings into play the translation era. These translators made significant amounts of money for their efforts, and this led to the importance of a global acquisition of knowledge. But with this, Islamic peoples also realized the opportunity and possibility for total loss. This was very important for medieval scholars, so they did whatever they could to make sure that documents were preserved and writings that could be potentially destroyed forever were not destroyed. In fact, there was a significant amount of effort put into preserving the findings and teachings of medicine. We see Muhammad, Muhammad actually said God did not send down an illness without sending its cure, which is an interesting statement. And then Galen, which was a physician of the time, actually, said that there were certain humors in the body, and it was yellow bile, blood, black bile, and phlegm, and any imbalance in these humors would cause disease. So basically, in order to get rid of disease, there were certain draining techniques such as bloodletting, puking, what else? Purging, which is the same as puking, and other draining techniques. So the bottom line is the Islamics had an insatiable thirst for knowledge and were willing to do and go great lengths to find these. And then Islam was actually a net importer of intellectual product. So that's very important for the lesson in the history of sciences. They just wanted to go across the globe and basically get their hands on whatever knowledge they could and translate it. And Baghdad was and still is a place where innovation is greatly valued and appreciated. And that's it for this week. Thanks for listening.